Yeah. So just before we start, I'm just gonna
Mhm.
pray for us a little bit. Together. Okay, dear Heavenly Father, I just want to thank you first for uniting us today, for making a time for us to be able to have this amazing conversation. I pray that you'll be able to use this to inspire many and to grow a desire to know you better and get closer to you. I pray for my friend Sharon further. I pray that you continue to guide her, you continue to inspire her, and you continue to just support her and like protect her and her family during this time. I thank you so much for her life, and I thank you for everything that you're going to do. In your precious name, I pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Oh, so good.
Thank you. So, can you introduce yourself a little bit for those who doesn't know you?
Yeah, so my name is Sharon Kilon Han. Kilon, it comes from my Korean name, which is Kiron. So my Korean name is Han Kiron, and my English name is Sharon. And I'm a life coach. Also, I own a digital marketing agency called Highwave Media. But it's really in like the early stages of it. So so I just started it end of last year. So built all the systems. But yeah, I'm still like praying, God, like which way do you want me to go about it? How should I, help the small local businesses with digital marketing and things like that?
That's amazing.
Yeah, thank you. Kind of like bringing in the marketing skills that I've learned through working in media in Los Angeles, and I had an e-commerce store when I went to Bali and things like that. So bringing those skills together. I also have a podcast called Millennial Life School.
Yeah, guys, check it out.
Apple Podcasts and Spotify. My heart behind it is like, hey, why don't we figure life out together? So I interview people. They're millennial superstars, people people who inspired me, and people that I look up to, or just friends or whatnot. And I bring them on the podcast, and we just talk about life, talk about how they got to where they're at, and I learn a lot from it.
That's amazing. So did you stop for now, or like you continuing to do it?
So season 1 ended, but I plan on doing season 2 hopefully pretty soon. So I think after season 1 ended, I focused on building the agency. And then right now I'm writing a coaching workbook, which I'm almost done, and I'm so excited to share. But once I finish writing the coaching workbook, I'm going to start podcast again.
Wow. You like that's so amazing. I'm really proud of you. Like you accomplished so much in like such a short amount of time. Like it's so impressive. Wow.
Thank you. It's really just working at it. Small steps every single day.
I agree. So can you tell us a little bit about your life coach experience? So how that idea came to just like start doing life coaching?
Yeah, it's kind of funny because I didn't even know what life coaching was like a while back, even before I started. So what happened was I was in Los Angeles. I was working as an account executive in a media company. But at that time, I had no idea what I really wanted to do. That was my first job out of college. And once you graduate, you have no idea what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
And so at first I was like, okay, I'm gonna move to Los Angeles because I really want to impact lives. And I feel like the easiest way to do it is to be in the media industry. Because in Los Angeles, there's Hollywood, the media industry, and I was like, okay, if I wanna reach people, I need to work in the media industry.
Right.
So I moved to Los Angeles and I got the first job there, which was, working at a media company. But I was very, very unhappy. I realized very early on that the company and the place that I was at was not the place where I felt like I was really capitalizing on the strengths and the skills that I had. So I was just like, okay, like first job, people told me you're not supposed to like your first job, so it's okay, let me just endure through. But in that whole time, I was constantly just asking God, like, okay, God, like I really don't like where I'm at, but I have no idea where I even want to be at. So I felt extremely stuck because I was like, okay, I'm not happy here. I feel like I'm wasting time, but I can't even move from here because I don't even know where to take the next step.
Right.
So I had properly hit my quarter life crisis. So at that time, I was just like, okay, God, like I'm really disappointed with where I'm at. I'm disappointed in, where my in my life situation, and I thought, God, like I I don't know what to do. And I remember there was this glimmer of hope and something that happened about 3 or so years ago. I remember I was just driving to work in Los Angeles, and usually I listen to music on my way to work, and it's like my commute is my favorite time.
Yeah.
Because I didn't like my 9 to 5, but that time that I had driving to work was my favorite time. But during there was a day where I was like, you know what, I'm so tired. I feel exhausted. I feel like an office drone. I feel like I'm losing the passions and the dreams. And even with my relationship with God, I felt like I just never had the energy to even seek after God.
Right.
And I realized, okay, this is an issue. So I felt really down, and I was just driving to work that day, and I decided not to listen to music because I was like, you know what, I'm really upset where I'm at. So I'm just going to be sad and just roll down my windows and drive silently. But at the time I had this like crazy God moment. And when God does that, where he just kind of encounters you. So at that time I was driving, and I remember just hearing coming from the outside, Jeremiah. Is like so clear. It was just from a car. I was driving with my windows down, and a car just sped past me. And as the car was passing by, all I heard from that car was Jeremiah. And I was like, interesting. So I turn on my radio, and I happened to be tuned into the same radio that the person next to me who drove past me was on, which I think was Caleb. But it continued. It said Jeremiah 29:11. And the verse from the radio was, for I know the plans that I have for you, plans to prosper you, not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future. And I remember that really hit me at that time, because the day before, I was at a beach with some of the people from Hillsong LA, and someone told me about meeting someone from church the previous Sunday, where this guy was in jail, and it was his first Sunday at church.
Oh, wow.
And she told me that this guy, when he was in jail, he was praying, and he was like, God, like when he was in jail, he happened to come across Hillsong LA channel TV, and in jail he got saved. And he said Jeremiah 29:11 was the verse that he was holding on to. And when I heard that, weirdly, when I was driving to work, I was reminded of that story, and I felt like I was telling me, Sharon, if I can get a man out of jail and give him a hope and a future, I can get you out of where you're at. Because the guy, he was holding on to Jeremiah 29:11 when he was in jail, and somehow he was able to come out of jail, I think, quicker than the sentence that he had. And so he said he came to church for the first time. And I was so like moved by that, and I remember I started to cry. And I think from that moment I decided, okay, you know what, I'm gonna start to really figure out what it is, what my future is, and just trust in God through this time of confusion. And so I think that's really where everything began, this glimmer of hope and God's promises, holding on to that and saying, okay, hey, God has a good plan and purpose for my life. If he can get a man out of jail and give him a future, he can get me out of where I'm at, no matter how stuck I felt, and he can give me a hope and a future. And kind of fast forward throughout that time, I was just journaling, asking God, okay, what do I do now? And all these series of questions that I felt like I was asking me, like, Sharon, what gives you joy? Just move towards that. I'm like, okay, what gives me joy? I love talking to other people. That gives me joy. What gives me joy is being around other people who are creative, inspiring people. What gives me joy is encouraging other people and inspiring other people. And I just kept step by step moving towards that. And I had, even throughout the whole process, I didn't know what life coaching was. But in that period, I happened to come across other people who are coaches. And I remember working with a career coach from my church, and he he was, helping me process things, what I want to do in my life, basically. And I had a mentor who was an entrepreneur, a digital marketer. So he owns a digital marketing agency, also met from church, and we were hopping on calls every week, and he was kind of coaching and mentoring me and telling me, okay, Sharon, you have to read this book, or you should listen to this podcast. And through all those people that I had in my life, I think that really helped me to take action and to have faith and to move forward and to have the confidence that I'm going in the right direction. And so I started doing that, and then I just went through what I thought was right I wasn't really sure, but the first thing I did was I launched an e-commerce store, because that's something that I had someone helping me do as well. So I was like, you know what? I think one thing is I really care about freedom and time, so that I can get into conversations, serve people. I want to have more freedom and time than being stuck in an office from 9 to 5. So I thought, okay, hey, this person that I know is kind of living the life that I want to be living, and he sells things online. So let me learn that. So I asked him, and so he started teaching me and sending me things to look up and study. And so within 1 month, I launched my first e-commerce store. And then after I started doing it, I was like, oh my God, I think I really love doing my own stuff much more than working at a company. So I quit my job, and then I moved to Bali. And then while I was in Bali, I came to know more coaches. And in that time, I realized that in the end, after trying e-commerce and selling products online, I thought, you know what? I think what I really care about is encouraging other people, inspiring other people, and looking at my journey of going from feeling extremely stuck, feeling like I ran into a wall of quarter-life crisis, to feeling like to actually taking action for my dreams and feeling really happy and coming to learn more about myself and challenging myself. I was like, you know what? I want to help other people kind of go through what I've gone through, and help people process my thoughts, just like how other people who were there for me helped me. So I wanted to be that person for other people. So I just was like, you know, I want to help people. If you want to work with me for free, just let me know. And I just got my 3 first trial clients, basically. And I started working with them, and I realized, man, I absolutely love this. And I think this is something that God has gifted me to be able to do. So I studied more and got a coaching certification, or did a coaching certification course online. And then I just started coaching more and more people. And yeah, that's kind of my whole journey. It's a long story.
But that's very
and with the whole process.
That's very inspiring. So how do you balance your life with faith now, compared to before?
Yeah, well, first of all, I think not having a 9 to 5, I feel like because I have more freedom in time, I always try to allocate my morning time to spend time with God and to really seek after God. And because I think creating your own path or doing your own thing is very different from doing what you're being told to do in a corporate setting. So there's so many decisions that you have to make with every single thing. Who do I reach out to? Who do I talk to? Who should I call? Is this the right way? What's my mission statement for my company? What process should I do this? How should I price this? Every single thing, there's so many decisions. And with everything, I feel like I find myself just seeking after God, because I'm like, I don't know what the answer is. Why not talk to God who knows everything?
Right.
So I try to bring God into every decision that I make, or when I feel stuck or confused in terms of what I need to do. I love reading through the book of Proverbs, because there's so much wisdom. So I look through Proverbs and try to make sure, okay, is my heart in alignment with God's? Is the way that I'm going about this in wisdom, or is this from my selfish ambitions? And I always try to bring it up to God and just ask, what his thoughts are.
Yeah. So how does he inspire you, like in every day?
How does God inspire me in every day?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think mostly just through stories. So, for example, stories from the Bible, or even podcasts, and even hearing other Christians as well talking about their relationship with God. I think that really inspires me to see people who are living it out. Because I think knowing the word is one thing, but once you know the word and know the Bible, being able to actually walk that out, I think that is really inspiring. And my hope is that I can live like I actually believe in what the Bible says. And so that's kind of my heart. And so when I see other people who I feel like are doing that, that's really inspiring.
And it is a process. I mean, like it takes time, but like having it in your heart to do so, I think it's like it's a start, right? It's a start. Like having people to look up to, that's huge, right? Because we can't do things on our own. So yeah, that's amazing.
I was gonna say, and also it's like because every single one of us, we are not perfect.
Yeah.
So when I see imperfect people, and in the whole humility of it, people being honest with their imperfection, and then also like seeing that and seeing how they trust in God through their imperfections, I think that's also very encouraging and inspiring as well.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, because sometimes it is hard to open up about, especially like as a Christian, because we tend to we could be judgy, because there's so many ways. We tend to be like, oh, this is how a Christian should be. This is how a Christian should be. When perfection is something that only God can allow us to have. Like we can't reach it on our own. It's just like having the desire to want to grow and like get better every day. But like it's arrogance to say, oh, like I can be like the perfect Christian, or like I can be the perfect person in general. Because we can't.
I don't think perfect and Christian can go together.
Yeah, exactly.
Because being a Christian, that is admitting that you're not perfect.
You're not perfect.
That you can't do this on your own. That you need a savior. So you can't be perfect.
Exactly. So, and that's why I wanted to do this, because then you hear like so many different stories, experiences, and people doing so many different things and growing at their own pace. When do you feel the closest to God? That was my question.
When do I feel closest to God? I think I feel the closest to God when I recognize His love in my life. I feel the closest when I'm able to recognize the mystery of His love. Like when I take a moment to pause and I reflect on my life, or reflect on things, or even just like, it's snowing right now. But when you think about like, wow, I can't believe how beautiful this is.
Right.
Think about how, wow, God thought of through all these details to even make this thing called snow falling from the sky so beautiful and so creative. And how every single snowflake, it has different shapes, and like the detail of that is so amazing to me. And even thinking about my life, and like I was talking to my mom recently about how she gave birth to me. And for my mom, before she had my older sister and me, she had these like tumors in her uterus or something like that. So she said she had tumors like the size of a tennis ball.
Oh, wow.
And so thankfully it wasn't cancerous. It was like water tumor or something like that. But she had to have a surgery for that. And through that, the doctor told her that she might not be able to get pregnant. But by God's grace, she had my sister. But her pregnancy of my sister was so hard that the doctor told her she can't get pregnant again. So she wasn't ever thinking about being pregnant again. But then she had me, got pregnant with me. But at that time, she said she was taking some some kind of medicine because she had blisters on her fingers. So she was taking medicine to treat that, and apparently that medicine is really harsh. But she was taking it when she was pregnant with me because she didn't know that she was pregnant with me. So she said how it was really scary for her because she thought, oh my gosh, like what if something goes wrong with the baby, or things like that. But at the time when my mom was all worried about the condition of me in her belly, in her stomach, my dad told her, hey, you didn't know that you were pregnant, so I'm sure that God protected the baby in the womb, because you didn't know, you couldn't do anything about it. And so in faith they had me, and thankfully I'm normal, hopefully, as can be. And so even like things like that, and like the fact that maybe God saw my family, God saw my parents, God saw my sister, and maybe God thought, you know what, I feel like this family needs Sharon.
They need her.
Family really needs me. so he sent me. So even like little things like that, I'm like, wow, maybe I was God's gift, And I say that because I think every single one of us is a gift. I think we're all a gift, and we should all think maybe God saw me and thought this person needs to be born to be alive in this year in 2021, because this person was born and is made for a time like this.
Wow.
So I think with little things like that, when I feel like when I recognize the love and the love that I think God has placed in me, or the love of God, that's when I feel the closest to God, and I'm able to recognize and be grateful for that.
That's so true. Like we tend to forget that, right? Or like not think about it because we just like alive, so it's like we take it for granted. But that's true. When you especially with nature, when you like look at nature and like just think about like details and stuff like that, you just see how incredible it is, Like he literally thought of every single thing. Everything. That's beautiful.
And like for you too, like every single person, like your story, your parents meeting each other, having you, who you are, the things that you've experienced, even like the hardships and the struggles that you had to go through. I think those things are so unique, and because you had those certain experiences in life, now you have authority over those things. Like if you struggled with depression, you come out of it, now you have authority over that area, and you know how to help other people in that area better. And going through things like that, it's like, oh, you're able to relate and you're able to empathize and understand that so much better.
That's true. That's true. We are born to help each other. That's true. It's nothing is just for you. It's always for like the people around you. I totally agree with that. Totally agree. And like when I go through things, that's how I try to remember, okay, well, I need to go through this to get somewhere, and it might help someone later on. And I do deal with depression like a lot. So it's something I'm able to just help like my friends or like others when they open up about it, which I'm grateful for, because it can be rough, especially when you're alone and you don't want to talk about it and things like that. So yeah, I agree with you. Well, thank you so much, Sharon, for sharing. That was so inspiring and powerful. Just before we finish, we're just going to play a little game.
The Bible trivia. I'm nervous about this.
You got this. Oh,
man.
I'm sure we'll learn stuff. Okay. Yeah, I'm just.
Do I get something if I get 3 correct?
Yeah.
It's my reward.
Your reward is that you see how you know the Bible, and it's like, wow. Oh
my reward is in heaven.
But if you don't get this 3 points, just say like something crazy about you, so something that would surprise people. Give me anything. So first question, I'm gonna go with this one. Okay, what was Peter's profession before being an apostle?
what was it? What?
Peter's profession before he
Oh,
became.
like occupation. What was his job? He
Mhm.
was a fisherman.
Yeah. Like you're good job. He was a fisherman. That's good. So 1 point. I'm going like slowly but surely.
I got one right.
Okay. This one. Okay. What is the first commandment?
The first commandment
Yeah.
in the 10 Commandments.
Yeah.
I should hold on. You shall have no other god.
Oh, God.
Other than God.
Dang, that's good. Good job.
Oh my god, I'm nervous.
Okay, 2 points. You almost there. Okay. This one should be okay. Paul says in Ephesians we should follow whose example?
We should follow the Sunday school answer, Jesus.
Yes.
3 out of 3.
No, 3 out of 5. I'm still gonna do the 2 other question. I want to see how far you go.
Let's see, maybe you know what? Now I feel confident. Let's go for 5 out of 5.
I got this. I got this. Okay. The fourth question. Which gospel is written by a doctor? It's getting harder. It's getting harder.
John? No, not. It wasn't John. It was a Matthew. Luke?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. You know it. It is Luke. What? I didn't even know
Luke
that.
was a doctor?
Yeah, I didn't know. Apparently, I'm like, oh, really?
Oh, I was like, I know it's not Matthew. I know it's not John, and I know it's not Paul.
Yeah, it can be Paul. Dang, girl, you killing this. Okay, last one. This one is the toughest one. I'm gonna choose the tough one because you just like killing this game.
Oh my god.
Okay, this one is gonna be funny. Okay, after Jesus fed 5,000, how many baskets were left over?
7.
It was
11.
12. 12.
I was so confident.
She was like 7. I know that.
Wasn't there 7 for something? Usually, in the Bible, I feel like 7 is like there's a lot of numbers related to 7.
That's true. I didn't even know like about the basket left. I think I just skipped. I probably skipped that part because it's like, and when I do those questions, when I do those questions, it makes me want to just go back and be like, there's so much details that I don't pay attention to. Like I need to pay attention. But you did amazing though. Wow, girl.
4 out of 5.
Yeah. All right,
that is 80%.
That is 80%.
Minus. I'm okay with that.
You passed the My Shinhang test. That's so good. That's awesome.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you what does Shin Ang stand for, and then I thought, is this Korean, like Shinang?
I don't know because I was talking with a friend of mine. So she speaks Mandarin, and I was just like trying to look for another language for Faith Walk. And she told me that was Faith Walk, like in Mandarin too. So I don't know, like in Korean, what does it mean?
Really? Because in Korean, Shinang, we have Shinang, which is faith.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah.
So I was like, because I was looking at it, I was like, what's Shin Ang? And I thought, is this like, what kind of language is this? Is this in French? Is it French or something? But then
it's Mandarin.
And I was like, Korean has Shinang, which that's so cool. I didn't know in Mandarin it's also that too.
That's amazing, especially like now, like I'm trying to learn Korean, so now I know another word.
Let's see now Korean trivia for you.
I can say a couple
things.
Say
hi in Korean.
안녕하세요. 안녕.
안녕. What else? What do you call an older sister?
Duna. Is it Duna?
As a girl, when you're a girl.
Oh wait, I know this one. What is it? Oh my gosh, I forgot. I knew this one.
It starts with
Annie. Annie.
Yes.
It's Annie.
Good. Okay, I'll give that one to you. 2 out of 2.
Yeah.
And last one. What do you call an older brother?
Oppa.
Oppa.
Oppa 사랑해. Yeah,
Good job.
I'm taking it really seriously. I'm like, I need to know this language. Like, I want to learn it really bad.
Yeah, it's
So-
pretty easy, I think.
Yeah. Do you have tips for me? Like something? Or for everyone, people might want to learn.
Yeah, I would just say watch a lot of Korean dramas.
Yeah, that I did. I'm like, check.
And then while watching dramas, when you hear, maybe like pause
Mhm.
and then read the subtitle and then listen back and then practice saying what they're saying.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I've been doing. So I kind of understand, not now, a little bit. So it's like more speaking. So I'm trying to learn like the letters, like how I can read now. I can read and like write a little bit. But hopefully, like by next year, I'll be able to have a conversation a little bit
Ooh.
better.
I
So
look
I'm
forward
like,
to that. And
yeah.
then maybe hopefully by next year we wouldn't have the pandemic and then we can go to Korea.
Yes,
That'd
please.
be so fun.
That'd be so great. I want to visit so bad. We have to go. Hopefully.
Yeah,
Fingers
I
crossed.
love Korea. It's so fun.
Yeah. I need to go with you
Absolutely.
then, because I can't go by myself. Like I don't know anyone there. So it would be
Uh-huh.
better experience to go with someone who's been there and like.
Yes, and I'll show you around.
Yeah.
And we'll eat a lot of food.
The food. Yes. I'm a big foodie too. I'm like, oh yes.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Sharon. Just
Mhm.
before you go, can you challenge 2 people that you know around you that are Christian to do the interview?
2 people. I have to nominate 2 people.
Yes.
But there's so many people, but at the same time, I don't know who to choose. So challenging 2 people for the interview who are Christian.
Yeah. Who you think obviously like who want to like share, and like wouldn't mind doing the interview?
Yes. Oh. Okay. I'm gonna challenge Joelle. She's also like a life coach, a young life coach, and from UK.
Wow.
And I wanna challenge. Who else would be good? Okay, I'm gonna challenge Bonnie. I don't know if she'll do it. Bonnie Kim. She's also a coach.
Okay.
She's also a life coach, but she has a phenomenal story.
Oh,
But
Okay.
yeah, she loves God and she's really inspiring.
Well, hopefully she will want to, even if it's not
Mhm.
now.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much, Sharon. Your video will be out next Wednesday. So
Mhm.
woohoo! So I'll let you know that day, and you'll be able to let them know about the challenge.
Okay, sounds good.
Awesome.
This was so much fun. Thank you so much for inviting me
Of
and allowing me
course.
to do this.
Of course. Thank you for sharing again. That was really good. That was really, really good.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
Bye. You have a good
Bye.
day.
Mhm.